4TL. Whew, 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 whew. Just ask for it. Trap dreams for a richer million. I ain't even have to trap for it. Blue benches, yo, not scared.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Dr. Coach A with another episode of One Life to Live with Dr. Coach A. I got two guys here with me today, and we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of people are interested in and a lot of people really and truly want to know. And it is answering that question of, so you really want to be a coach, right? And so me and these two guys are going to discuss what comes with being a coach, some of those good, some of those bad. I'm going to ask these guys to give you any advice that they could give anybody who wants to jump into this world of coaching. And these are two guys that I look up to, and I know they're younger than me, but I look up to them. I think they carry themselves very well. They are two excellent fathers, one who just had a baby recently over the last couple months. And these are two guys who are fresh into the coaching game. I know they got into it in different ways, doing different things. But I think the impact that they have on the young men that they are able to work with is so significant that I wanted them to be able to kind of share their stories and their experiences with you guys so that you guys can see and hear a different perspective other than mine from people who are, you know, in that 30 under 30 coach category that are lighting up the high school world of football right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to Coach Eli Bills and Coach Rodney Williams, aka Coach Raw. Fellas, what's up?
What's good, man? How you doing, man? Appreciate you for inviting us to get on this call, man, or this podcast, bro. I'm honored, and I'm looking to help in any way I can, man.
Appreciate that, man. As I said again, man, I everything I just said truly meant it. I look up to both of you guys. I definitely, ask you guys some questions as well as you guys come to me and ask me questions. But the big topic again is so you want to be a coach, right? What made you guys want to jump into this world?
You want to go first, Rob?
Yeah. Because I'm gonna go first because I actually never wanted to be a coach to start off. I always just been in love with the recruiting piece of it and helping kids. Like my dream always been to be director of player personnel, director of recruiting, a GM, something like that. I grew up with that dream. That's why I started. And then I got a job. Just to fast forward, I got a job at Morehouse as director of player personnel. And then that summer, our tight end coach left. And the head man was like, "Hey man, I need you to get on the grass." I'm like, "Bro, to do what? Like, coach? I don't know. I played DB, bro. Like, you can ask me coach DBs, but you got two DB coaches, so I know you don't need me for that." And he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna need you to coach tight ends." And I'm like, "What?" So, and then tight ends it ain't something that's easy that you can just. I felt like you shouldn't be able to just do as a first year coach. Like I feel like as a first year coach, you put somebody at corner, you can put somebody at running back, something like that, something simple. But he asked me to coach tight end, so I got to learn the run game, the pass game. And at that time, I think I was 24. And then I got people in the room that's 22, 23 years old that's been playing tight ends all these years. Another thing, I'm like 5'7", them kids 6'3", looking like grown men, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn how to actually run a room of other men and lead them, and at the same time learn from them. So it definitely was a life-changing experience. But after that, I fell in love with it, and I just had the itch for the whistle, man. Like I just wanted to continue to coach, and I had the opportunity to come back to Brookwood and coach DBs. And now my new dream is to try to be like a head coach or something. So it definitely changed fast.
That's what's up, man. Coach Bills?
That man muted himself.
I had to. My bad. Yeah, man. So honestly, I never even thought I would just come from the background where I come from. I'm originally from Chicago. I played football there, but it's not nearly as organized or as it's not taken as seriously. During my time, it wasn't taken as seriously as it is down here. I moved to Georgia like my junior year of high school after some things happened. My father was murdered, things like that. And so I was going through a lot of life. And like I said, I never thought I'd be a coach. But one thing led to another. My younger brother, he started to take, after my football days was done and over, I went to college. I tried to walk on at Ball State. Didn't work out for me, So I was just trying to figure out what was next for me in life. And along the way, I had kids, and I'm like the oldest of 7 kids. So my younger brother, he was still going through the Brookwood cluster. So once he got into high school, I started to be around him a little bit more and stuff like that. Coming back from Chicago back down here to Atlanta, and we're just trying to help out with him and stuff like that, just because he was pursuing a dream that I had as well, which was playing football. And so, my younger brother, he going into, I think, he was a junior going into his senior year, and he wasn't starting, at Brookwood. And so he, his coach at the time was Coach Jalen Pearson. I asked Coach Pearson, like, man, like, what do you need to see more of from my brother? And he basically gave me some things they need to work on, tackling, just technique and all these other things. So I literally took it upon myself to like go get head first and get out there in the field and be front line with my brother and work at it, every little thing that the coach said he needed to do. And the next season, my brother was the second leading tackler on the team, and the coach thought he had a tackling issue. So, what I'm saying? I think that just seeing what I could do, like seeing the impact, like you talked about, like seeing that impact that I could have on my brother in just a short amount of time, kind of just, and I naturally like to help people. It kind of just pushed me in this direction. And like I've been asking Coach Jones for a minute if I could join the coaching staff or be around the program in some type of way, because my passion is football. I love football. I eat, sleep, and breathe football. Like I love football. And eventually, after my brother graduated, or he was going into his graduating year, Coach Jones like, go ahead, man, go to Coach Miss Jean, get the paperwork filled out. And so that's how it happened.
That's what's up, man. I think you said something that was big too. Is you realize that the impact you were having on your brother was also an impact you could have on other young men as well, which is a big part of a big reason as to why a lot of people are doing what we're doing. Is we want to have that impact, and you continuously want to have that impact because every year that new group comes in and you got to start it all over. So that's really dope. So let me ask you this. Is it everything you thought it would be?
Yes and no. I guess the yes part is like it's definitely still as fun. It's still a kid's game. You still get that same energy and buzz like from playing. Like the way I feel coaching after and then big wins and even losses. Like I was telling Eli the other day, like bro, I really like tears came out my eyes in that game because I worked so hard. Like we worked so hard that week, put in so much time just to prepare for that game. And I just knew we was gonna win it. Same way as a player, like the players, tears are coming. It's just the same passion, the same feel that you would get playing. And I think that's what makes it so addicting. But I think for me, like I knew it was a grind.
Yeah.
Like my first time working was in college. So, but I didn't know the grind was like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a real grind. And every coach is different. You know what I'm saying? So like when I'm talking about grind at Morehouse ain't nowhere near compared to UJ, which is a whole different type of grind.
Right.
But I mean, the level you want to reach and the level you want to get to, I just realized how much harder you have to work, which is the same thing as playing. Like if you want to be a big time college player, you gotta work super hard. If you want to be an NFL guy, you gotta work harder than everybody else. And I think it's crazy how much it translates to coaching as well. So I don't think I was expected. Like I didn't expect how the grind like to be as high as it was, because you talk about pre-practice 5:15 in the morning, and then you after practice you get done at like 7. You got meetings and you got to break down film. And at school like that, we recording film ourselves, breaking it down ourselves, everything. So then like our last meeting of the day might be 9 p.m. So I'm like, bro, what are we doing? I just came here,
Player personnel guy.
So I think that's what definitely, and then getting to high school, like the ground was almost the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially because you got to be a teacher, and then you still meeting throughout the day, still breaking down film while you're in class. After school, you got film, then practice, and after practice, they want you to watch film again. Like, it's still crazy. Like, it's a grind at every level. You know what I'm saying? So I think that definitely was a shock to me just because I never did it before.
Right.
And as a player, you don't work as hard as the coach. Like the coach is putting in double the time the kids are.
What about you, Coach Bills? Is it everything you thought it would be?
No. I didn't know to be with you, I didn't know what to expect coming in, honestly. Like I always had a passion for football, but just being quite frankly honest, like I didn't have enough experience in the X's and O's when I first started. Like, it was kind of like everything was new to me. You know what I'm saying? Not like just like understanding why this goes with this, or why we do this with that, and why we know, why these certain things match up and why we play this coverage on the backside of this blitz or whatever the case may be. Like just understanding. I think me and Ryan had a conversation about this not too long ago as well. Like I didn't really understand our defense that we ran until last year.
Yeah. He was telling me the same thing. It's crazy because even on the offensive side, you know, I've got a huge background defensively. So switching over to offense the last few years, there was a lot of things that I'm trying to understand the thought process that offensive guys have. And shout out to like Coach Finley, because he was always like that guy of, oh, we do this because of this. Let me explain how we set that piece up, because you're going to run these 3 plays and we're going to see how that guy reacts. And now we can run that 4th play. And I was like, you know, you hear people talk about setting up plays, but to have somebody sit in your hip and explain it to you, it was just completely different. So I definitely understand what you mean by still learning the X's and O's. I'm still learning them joints and I'm 13 years in. So I get it.
Well, yeah, that and like just, I don't know. I just, you know, like, just getting your feet wet, I would say, like, you know, like when you're a new coach, you young, you know what I'm saying, and you just coming in, you know, it's like you could deal with a lot of emotions behind the scene that don't nobody really consider or you know, take into consideration. And then you also got to deal with the fact that like it's not like high school is like college where the GAs get treated like shit, and you know, like, sorry if I'm cursing on it.
No, you're good. You're good.
But you know, where the GAs get treated like trash, but it's still that feeling of like, dang, like, am I, you know, it was points last year where, I mean, not last year, but my first year, where I'm like, dang, do I even belong in the same room with some of these dudes that's been doing this for, you know, and they play at a high level, but, you know, I kind of like, I always had this positive mindset and this, you know, this thing about myself where I'm always, if I don't, where I lack at, I'm gonna exploit it to the highest degree. And that's one thing that going into like this previous season where me and Raw was the corner and the safety coach, you know, we kind of wore that on our chest.
Yeah.
Like we unexperienced. Yep. So what? We're gonna outwork everybody that got more experience than us. We're gonna put in more hours with the kids than anybody else is. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go out here, we're gonna work on this, and so I think that to answer your question, it was nothing what I expected. I didn't know what to expect to be going in. And I'm so glad that I jumped to the leap of faith and I actually pursued something that is now I feel like me living in my purpose in life. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. So I think you guys both kind of jumped into coaching with the same, you know, thought process of, like I said, helping people. And the way we go about doing that is very unique. And I think everybody's got their own special way of finding ways to motivate a kid, because everybody's motivated differently. But there's other people that are going to be watching this, and there are people right now that want to dive into this, right? And by this, I mean coaching. So what are the difficult things that you guys have run into about finding a job?
It's hard for me because, to be honest with you, like, I never interviewed for a job, and I done had 2 coaching jobs. But it's all about like the people I know, and I just built those relationships through recruiting and, like y'all said, helping others. So it wasn't like they owe me a favor, but I helped so many kids, and always was a call away if they needed me to work at camp. Or like, for example, like the reason I got the Morehouse job was, for one, I called Ahmad Tinker, who's over the Minority Coaches Association.
Shout out Coach Tink.
And then the DB coach, Coach Saeed, that was there. So, you know, I knew him from sending him kids to get recruited to Morehouse, by Morehouse. And then I knew Tink from, you know, going to his camps, and he was also a mentor. So I'm like, look, I want to get into coaching, blah, blah, blah. You know, I want to get into the recruiting part of, you know, like any college. Like, I don't care if it's NAIA, D3, whatever, anybody you can call. He was like, man, go to Morehouse. Like, they need that spark. And he just made a call, and I had a meeting with, you know, Coach Freeman. And it wasn't really more of a, like, it's crazy how those connections work, because it wasn't really an interview. It was more, I heard about you. Let's sit down, talk. Like, what you want to do? What's the plan? What can you do? Like, it didn't feel like an interview. It felt like I was just meeting him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the same thing at Brookwood. Like, I was at Brookwood before I got to Morehouse doing recruitment for Brookwood. I wasn't coaching. And the reason I got there is because I helped some kids on the outside recruiting wise, like with my recruiting service. And they said, man, you so good. Let me introduce you to Coach Jones. And that was it. Like, so for me, the best advice I could give is, shoot, go out and network and meet people, because people get you jobs, bro. I mean, It's that simple. Like, people can call people or people can hire you.
Yeah.
You know?
And Coach Bills, I'm gonna ask you the same question. And I know for you, your network in doing this isn't as big as, say a Coach Raw or mine's is, which was very, very integral to why I asked you to work that All-Star game back in December. Because I said, yo, man, regardless of what happens outcome wise, like, look at it as a networking piece, right? So what have you found, the same question, to be difficult
Well,
when
before
looking for a
that,
job?
shout out to Dr. Coach A, because he did put me in a position to definitely network and put myself out there. As far as like the Georgia League Classic game, that was big for me, man. I appreciate you for putting that together for me.
If you want to do it again, let me know. I got you.
I wouldn't mind, but I had a
I
good time.
got you. Yeah.
But to answer your question, bro, was getting a job difficult? Heck yeah, bro. I don't know nobody. Don't nobody know me. Who is Bills? Who is he? Like who is this guy? I'm just that's kind of like how I felt my coaching career. But I think that, like you said, it's all about who you know. And Coach Jones knew me from when I went to Brookwood. I graduated from Brookwood in 2015. Coach Jones was an assistant coach on the staff. He took over. He was supposed to take over that year, but they ended up making him wait till the next year because Coach Mark Cruz wanted to stay one more year with us. So again, it goes back to relationships, about knowing people. Sometimes you got. I will say this: it's all about knowing people, but once you get that first opportunity, it's all about what you do with it as well. Because I feel like, a lot of people aren't humble. A lot
Yeah.
of people aren't down to earth. People get in positions and they get arrogant and they, get this mentality like they feel like they bigger. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being confident, but
Mm-hmm.
it's going to hinder you from catching more blessings. And I think one of the biggest things that I did with my opportunity coming in was that, one, I got in because of Coach Jones and Coach Rodney Williams. That's another story for another time. I don't know if I can tell that story, but
You
I
got
probably
time.
job if Coach Raw didn't agree with Coach Jones for me to come in and help him with the corner that year.
Yeah.
So that's big. He didn't know me from a can of paint. All he knew was my
Mm-hmm.
little Shaman Lewis was talking about his brother wanted to come help coach, or he was coming to help coach, and whatever. Raw could have told Jones, like, I don't need no assistant. Could have been arrogant. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Bro was like, you know what? I don't know the dude, but I've heard good things about him, and let's see what happens. And now it's like that's my little brother for real. Like, you mess with Raw, you probably messing with Coach Bills, just keeping it a buck. It's just like I said, it's definitely about all about who you know. But another thing is just taking advantage of those opportunities and just always being a student of the game. Just continue to be a student of the game, no matter where you are in the game.
Yeah.
But just to piggyback off that, I think another thing is people want to jump right into a job. Like I said, I got lucky, right, to be able to be a college coach my first year coaching. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people want to. Oh, I'm a varsity coach right now. First year coaching, never coached before. You want to coach freshman? Nah, I'm too good for that. I play college
Yeah.
football. You want to coach JV? Nah, I just want to coach varsity. But the experience is what usually get people those big jobs. Like, even though I got those jobs with no experience, even if I wanted to leave, people still, that's the first thing they ask about. Where has he worked? Who does he know?
Mm-hmm.
What people say about him. But that comes with working. Like, if somebody call about Coach Bills now, for any of us, we all gonna vouch for him because he
Exactly.
worked. First
Yeah.
year, like he said, assistant volunteer. He didn't complain. And sometimes he made me work because I feel like, I'm like, dang, my boy, my assistant, he working hard for me.
That he do.
Take my job.
Yes.
But that's what you want, though, is people that's gonna grind. And like I said, the job is a grind. And for people that just want to hop into it right away and think that it should just be handed to them because they play at a high level or they know whoever, at the end of the day, you got to work. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's freshman, JV, and I seen you put something out like good programs, you're gonna lose good coaches. So why not go to Grayson and coach freshman? Because I promise you, a freshman Grayson coach can get a job probably at any varsity staff in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a part of winning program. Same thing with the Bufords and all that. Brookwood, like, your freshman coaches leave and get varsity job. Like, we had a freshman coach leave and he'll OC down in Florida, right? Like, and it happens. I see it all the time, but a lot of people don't want to work freshman JV no more. Everybody wants to be the guy varsity coach, college coach off rip, and I just don't. It don't happen that way. Not for everybody.
No, and that's so crazy too, because I remember like me jumping in, and I pretty much got my start because I was out training my cousin who was going into his senior year, just needed some help with his footwork. So we out training, doing that stuff. And the varsity coach who was at the school that I, got started at, he basically just walked out. I was like, hey man, you seem to know what you're doing. We need some help with the freshmen. You want help? And I was like, hell yeah. I didn't have no inclination of, man, I'm too good to be coaching freshmen. I was just like, shoot, hell yeah, I want to help. Like I get to be around ball. I get to do X, Y, Z. I still get to be X's and O's. So yeah, I could do it. And I walked in that spot and I did it for 2 years. So I felt like, that was for real, like where I needed to be in that time, was learning those X's and O's, because I had to learn the wing T offense all over again. Had to learn a new defense all over again. So it helped me. But everybody wants to start at the powerhouses. Everybody want to go to Grayson. Everybody want to go to, John Bosco and all the big name schools, and people want to get their start at Georgia. And like you said, it's them egos kicking in. Yeah. But it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think, that's what both of you guys pretty much alluded to. And I had on here, to talk about, is there a set map on how to get a job? And I think you both alluded to everything. It's the who you know aspects of it, and it's the who knows you, because you got to have somebody that's going to vouch for you to say X, Y, Z, right? So
to piggyback off of that, before we just real quick, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
After doing the Georgia Elite Classic, after doing the Georgia Elite Classic thing, it was schools that was interested in me, coaching there after that, so it was, like you said, it's about who you know and networking and getting yourself out there. But yeah, go ahead.
Definitely. So if you had to give somebody advice as far as, where you would recommend someone to start looking, like where would you say go?
So
and that's advice on finding a job. My bad.
I got a former player that actually reached out to me not too long ago. He actually started coaching 707, and then he was like, man, I love coaching. Like, just off 707, like obviously 707 is completely different than what we do throughout the whole year, but it made him get the itch to coach, and he was like I want a job. And I said the same thing like we just talked about. I was like, look, probably start off freshman somewhere. Come to Gwinnett, because a lot of people don't understand too. Like when you talk about really good counties and really good football programs, Gwinnett, Cobb, for example, South Georgia, your first year coaching, you're not gonna hop into a varsity job. But at the same time, once you get your foot in a county like that, in the programs like that, you pretty much good. Like you can work anywhere in those counties. You came from a really good program, whether it's freshman, JV, whatever. So I told him to go interview at a spot that I connected him with. And I was like, look, they're gonna ask you coach freshman. I don't want to hear no complaints, but coach freshman, bro. Like go be a receiver, you coach whatever they need, grind it out. And I was like, when you're ready, like they're gonna either move you up or I help you get another job, because now you got the experience, you don't learn. And not only that, you're in a good county and you learn from good coaches and good programs. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you really want to get into it, first off, like go to these camps and work the camps. There's always camps looking for workers, and you won't always be by yourself. Like you might not be confident and run those drills. Now you also learning from somebody. You get to meet people, you get to network. Now they might need a job. You got a job for you next year because they like how you know how you're working. Another thing is, man, I know one of our coaches actually how he got to Brookwood. I ain't gonna say his name, but he emailed like every coach in Gwinnett, bro. He said, every school in Gwinnett was like, hey, I'm a former player, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for a job. And he said 3 of them got back, and he impressed Brookwood. So maybe you really wanted to go get. It's just like anything else, reach out to people, and then at the same time, don't be too arrogant to take what job they offer you. The biggest thing is just getting your foot in the door, however that is.
Agreed. Coach Bills.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, I would say I don't want to know where to tell somebody to start, just because my way of getting in was kind of unorthodox. But I did coach 7-on-7 too. I ain't gonna lie, like you got to start somewhere. I just feel like somebody that's around football or involved in football in any type of way. Just yeah, I don't. That's not a good question to ask, Coach Bills. I'm because I don't know.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I say it is a good question to ask you, because you were in that position of, or you are in the position of your community coach, right? And so as a community coach, a lot of the times what you guys end up doing is going to a place you're familiar with, right? If I'm for instance, if I'm staying in a specific area, right, and my kid's gonna come up through that program, and I want to coach, like I'm probably gonna go to that high school and say, "Hey, I'm XYZ. I'm just looking to help out. Is there anything you guys need help with?" And from that point, oh man, we might need a defensive end coach or a wide receiver coach or a quarterback coach, whatever the case may be, right? And so now, as that community coach, I just got my foot in the door. And realistically, that's when you start looking at people who say, "I want to help out," right? Or "I want to be involved." Like it's as simple as sending an email. Sure, that sounds good. Make a phone call is even better. Going face to face with somebody. "Hey, coach, I'm in the area. I'm wondering if you guys could use any help." Right. And that's essentially how you guys started was, "Coach, I've got this itch. I really want to help out. Anything I could do." And that's how you got your foot in the door. So I don't neglect it by saying, "I don't know," because you did exactly what it was.
I mean, like my way of getting was just a little bit different, but yeah, that is essentially what I did. Like I started similar like how you started. I was training my little brother, and the coaches used to see me out there every day working with my brother, and on the weekends working with my brother. If you check the cameras, I was out there working with my brother. So I think that like what you said is spot on. Like just find your avenue to figure out how you can contribute to the community or whatever the case may be, to the program in any type of way. And then, work your way up from there. You can build that relationship and nurture that relationship, and then you never know what'll happen after that.
Right. And then for guys who are like fresh out of college, like, Coach Raw, you said, you went and played and then you came home and you wanted to do the player personnel stuff. And then from there you ended up at a college. How does one,
bro?
say what?
I feel GA. Like if I fresh out of college, I'm into sports, don't leave. Like that's the biggest thing I can tell anyone. Like that's one thing I regret. Like I had a coach, Coach Laws. He's at Macon Central, if I'm not mistaken. He was at Salem, but I did recruit for Salem, and he used to do like the college stuff back in the day, whatever.
Yeah.
And the first thing he told me was, "Rodney, don't work at no high school. Go to a college, sleep in your car if you have to." But see, I'm a high school sweetheart, bro. I was in love, bro. I wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't leave, bro. I was tripping, but they all worked out.
They undefeated.
So at the same time, like if you already at the school, they know you played there. Ask, can you GA? Ask, can I be a volunteer? And the same thing is like high school, getting your foot in the door. You already there. They already knew you. Now you can just grind. You don't need no money. Get your master's. You got your car, whatever. They pay for your apartment. Don't like it's the perfect situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you're really passionate about getting into something like that, that's the best way. I think for me, I think the people who got the most leverage are former college players. And as long as you do it as soon as you're done, you won't have no problem. And you don't even have to do it at your school. Like they know so many people. Hey, I got a kid, heck of a ball player, good kid, never missed no workouts, nothing. Give him a chance. I see you need a GA spot. Boom.
Yep.
That's my best advice I think I could give for anybody who wants to get into coaching. And like, yeah, no kids, no wife, fresh out of college, don't leave. Just stay there and grind it out, man. Because I mean, them people making $500,000 now just to coach DBs.
Yeah.
Run off GA and clean the shoes.
It's crazy. Crazy. No, but it's so funny because I've had several kids that, of course, went off to play college ball, and I try to give them all the same blueprint of how to navigate the next 4 years. And I pretty much tell them this. First of all, they're going to pay for you to go to summer classes at least 2 times, right? So if they're going to do that, then you might as well go ahead and knock out whatever classes you need in the summer. Now you can graduate in 3.5 years. Right. So at 3.5 years, you don't have to stay for a 4th year unless you just absolutely love football.
Yeah.
But if you're going to stay, you got to take a class. So why not go ahead and jump into a master's program? They got to pay for it. Right. Because they want you to be on team. They want you part of everything. So now you're in a master's program. So you're 3.5 years in. Let's just say you redshirt. Right. Or you get hurt and you're already ahead of the curve with regards to graduation. So now once you get to graduation, right, you got to lean back on them guys again because you just gave them yourself. Now they can give you something else. They gave you a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. Now you need to ask about a GA spot, especially if this is what you want to do as far as coaching wise goes, right? And they might not have a GA spot there, but like you said, everybody in coaching know everybody.
Yep.
So they're going to call somebody and vouch for you. And that for me is perfect, especially young guys. And like you just mentioned, Macon Central, one of my former kids is up there coaching at Macon Central as well, doing exactly following that plan of like, yo, man, go find a GA spot. I know it sounds, but unless you got XYZ degrees like I've got, and you're going to make way more money coaching at high school, go dive into a GA, grind it out for, 2-3 years, and then see what comes after that. Because them guys making a ton of money after them 2 or 3 years. So it's worth it.
Yeah. So definitely wait before you get married and have kids. Cause I had an opportunity. It was like 30K, bro. No benefits. Just had my first son. I looked at my wife, she looked at me. I knew. I'm not going. Call Philip Jones back.
Definitely. But so as you come into this, and we talked about, getting into it, if you could have done anything differently, what would you have done?
Let me start this one, bro.
Yeah.
If I would have done anything differently, as far as like just coming in,
just coming in coaching, yeah.
Boy, deep
I know.
I'm in deep thought because, bro, like I'm one of them people that kind of like embrace I enjoy the journey of things, and I embrace the journey of things. So like doing anything differently, I don't really know. It's probably stuff that I mean, okay, I got something I would have did differently. That's not me. Okay, so last year was my first year being a position coach by myself. I learned this from Coach Raw. You gotta let the senior lose their job, bro. Don't get don't miss the senior too early, bro. Let the senior lose his spot. And like I feel like when you let a kid, because I think that's one of the things, that was a gap for me last year. I had to deal with an angry senior for a majority of the year because he felt slighted, and I get it. But I would have just allowed him to start and just let him gradually see like these other kids are outperforming you, bro.
Yeah.
And kind of just navigate from there. But as far as like the way I got in and how I got in, I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world, bro. It made me who I am today, bro. It shaped me, and just being around all the coaches, all the coaches that that we got on the staff or that we've had on the staff, bro. I've learned something from literally every single body, every single person on the staff. I feel like I've learned something from them, and that's more valuable than changing anything, honestly, in my opinion. So,
man, I think you know what mine is, because like I played at Shorter, I ran track at Shorter.
Yeah.
I had got like sick, bro, like the flu, kind of like pneumonia type deal, and I was a track kid because I was out running, bro, with my abs out in the rain. Got sick, in like the winter time. I was doing stupid stuff, so I had to sit out for like 3 months. By that time, the track, like you out for 3 months, especially in college, like it almost not no coming back from that.
Yeah, that's it.
Like I ran indoor and then got sick, and then that was it. So, that's kind of when I was like, bro, because when I got like lower lung issue, asthma is bad. So it's almost like, bro, I'm out here running. I got asthma. Y'all tell me I might die. So I stopped playing, and running, and got into the recruiting thing because I was doing that anyway. And that's the same time that what's called I got in trouble destroying for making and being an athlete.
Yeah.
Me, like my coach was getting on me about that because they knew I was doing recruiting. They're like, bro, you out here charging folks. You got recruiting service on Twitter, and you're an NCAA athlete. I'm like, bro, I'm not. Nobody care who I am, bro. Like nobody. So I actually stopped because of that too. But they actually asked me to like I could stay on my scholarship money and coach. But at the time, I didn't want to coach. Like I never thought about coaching. All I knew was recruiting service, all-star games. I'm gonna have my own business, CEO, boss, whatever. Never thought about coaching. But I left. But now looking back at it, like I could have been 19 years old, 20 years old, coaching at a college level. At some point, probably got my own position, no wife, no kids, no nothing. Grind that out. Keep like uncle was coaching college already. He was I think he was at like Miami or something at the time. Like if I could do it different, that's probably what I'd do. Like grind out, take them lumps, stay in that dorm room, and just be a student assistant, and then GA, and just keep moving up that way. Because I'll probably be big time right now, man. Ain't no telling. But I know everything happened for a reason, and I enjoy where I'm at now. And to be honest, now my whole vision and dream of everything is different. Because now I just want to be like a high school head coach, and I think the impact that you make on high school kids is way more impactful than you do on college kids. And I think I enjoy that a lot more of seeing the fruit of their labors than the college kids. So some kids they already made it. Like I told you, I didn't even drink. Just like I ain't think about coaching, I never thought about going to the NFL. All I knew was it was gonna get me my scholarship money, and I might not have to pay full tuition. That's all I knew. I ain't too small to go to the NFL. Didn't think about the CFL. Didn't know about any other FL. So that was it, bro. Like getting to college was my goal.
Yeah.
When you coach kids like that, and like at Morehouse, them kids are smart, bro. Like you got kids that make more money than you. They know forex. They know the stocks. They got their own businesses. Some of them. I had a kid that wanted to be like a doctor. Like coach. After this, I'm going to the
med school.
Med school. I'm like, bro, what? Like you don't want to transfer play? Do you want? No, I'm going to med school. So like the passion and the impact ain't like them kids don't care as much as the high school kids do. All the high school kids like I want to go to college. I'm grinding. I want to go to Georgia. I'm working super hard. I want to be the star of my school. You get to college, like I'm here now. I'm a football player. We all superstars.
Yeah, you know, and that's different, of course, depending on your location and you know what those kids' aspirations are. But like you said, a lot of kids just think, all right, man, let me just get to college so my parents don't have to pay for this, and I'm good from there. So, and I get it, and that makes sense. Gotcha. So, as you know, you guys are younger in doing this and you haven't been doing it as long, but I want to know what you guys have found to be like difficult in doing this. And I've got a couple things written down here, like parents, athletes, responsibilities, 7-on-7, dealing with other coaches. Like, what have you guys found to be difficult as you navigate this world?
It's crazy you said coaches because at both levels, I feel like all the coaches I worked with was always like inspiring or always helpful. I never had a coach like try to belittle me or treat me like I didn't know nothing, even at the college level. I think the hardest part for me, just first starting, even Morehouse and Brookwood, is just being a young coach and being able to control your room. Because the relationships that you have with your kids as a young coach is way different than the coach that's been coaching 10 to 20 years. I'm super young. I joke around like I can switch it, but for them, it's like, coach, you young. Like to them, I'm big bro.
Yep.
So, and when you come in there like and don't set the tone right away, because when you first start, especially me, like at Morehouse, like I ain't like from what I knew, I didn't know much about tight ends. I knew they was already experienced. I had two seniors, so I knew they wasn't like the coach that was before me. It was his first year coaching too, actually. So I knew they haven't had a real. They kind of almost was coaching themselves. So I didn't go in there trying to like demand the room. This is why I know blah blah blah. I went in there on some. I'm gonna learn from you, learn from me, almost like peers. And to be honest, I felt like that was a mistake early on because now I have to try to correct it in the middle of the season when stuff go left. Because now I can't just chump you off because now we finna fight. You know what I'm saying? Because like, oh, boy, you cussing me out like, because now it's not coach player. Is we supposed to be like
homeboys? Yeah.
Not and it's not supposed to be like that. And it has to be. That's the first thing I learned. Like it has to be some type of separation, some type of difference between it. Which I thought going to high school would be easier. I'm a grown man, y'all kids, right? But these kids, they different, bro, and they don't look at it like that. And especially when you still like when you realize the age gap between a 15-year-old young man, teenager, ain't that far from a 23, 24-year-old. Because like you still not like I'm fresh out of college, like I ain't had I wasn't married, no kids, no nothing. So I'm still doing the same thing. Like I'm playing the game, I'm doing the same thing they doing. You know what I'm saying? So
legally,
yeah, it was hard. It was hard to definitely find that balance and control that room and demanding the room and demanding that respect of those kids without trying to seem like an asshole. Because for me, I'm so chill, so laid back. It was hard to like if you give them an inch, they take a mile, and I think that was the hardest thing for me is finding out how to still be me, but still demand that respect in the room of the kids.
Just to piggyback off what just the aspect of dealing with the kids, I think one of the biggest challenges for me as being a community coach as well was developing that relationship with the kids, because it's like you a coach, you a community coach, so Like you're not at school with the kids all day, so they ain't got that same. You know what I'm saying? They're not seeing you. They don't have to literally see you every day unless it's something football related. So like my biggest thing was like, okay, how do I bridge that gap to where I'm still getting, they still respect and appreciate me the same way as if I was there with them every single day at school and stuff too. And I think that social media and other things helped a lot with that because I was just constantly trying to connect with the kids, constantly trying to like, just talk to them and see what they got going on and looking at things from their point of view and things of that nature, stuff like that. So hold on, my son finna come crying. Hold on, give me two.
But no, that's super important. And a piece of advice I got when I was first starting and I was, I don't know, 22, 23, somewhere at that age group.
Yeah.
But my athletic director at the school I was at basically came to me and he said, "Hey man, you're young, use it." Like the fact that you're young is a good thing because you're going to dress like the kids, being that I'm black, the kids are black. I'm going to dress like them. They're going to dress like me. They're going to talk similar, right? My shoes going to look like they shoes. My car going to be cool because, whatever.
Yeah.
But because I'm young, the kids are going to see me and look up to me from that perspective. I'm black with dreads, right? Kids like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it just is what it is. So he constantly said, "Hey man, whatever you want to be involved with, you're a young coach. Just come ask me and I'm gonna let you be involved with it. Because as long as you're doing the right thing and you're leading in the right way, all these kids who 15, 16, 17, 18 years old are gonna follow you." And that's again the impact we're trying to have on these kids. And so that to me was more important to me, especially when I was younger, was making sure I'm doing the right thing and still look cool doing the right thing, because it's to your benefit.
Yeah.
It sucks to say it, but when you hit a certain age, now you the old head and the kids don't look at you the same no more. And like you just said, older coaches have a room and carry that room a different way than the younger coach will. So finding that balance of, yeah, man, we could be cool, but I'm still gonna coach your ass up at the end of the day is super important.
I think another thing. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Another thing that I think was difficult to deal with, like I said, was coming in was like you said, when you have lack of experience, you got guys that, like I said, for the most part, our coaching staff was cool, but you got guys that's gonna make you feel your lack of experience, like
Yeah.
saying like, and it wasn't hard to. I don't think it was difficult to deal with, but it was something to navigate around and still kind of. Cause like you got people like those little shots at you and stuff, but you kind of let it brush off your shoulder because you got a bigger picture of where you're trying to go, and like some people are intimidated by the young guys coming in.
Yeah.
Because we have a different type of energy, we bring a different type of energy. We can connect with the kids, which is something I was able to do being a community coach, was connect with the kids on a different level, like meet them where they at, and like connect with them, and make sure they know that I'm here for them, they here with me. Because I did the same thing with Raw my last year. I started off the year like he did, like we in this together. Like I'm a first year coach, the kids probably looking at me like Coach Bills, what I'm saying, this and that, don't really know this, but like I developed their respect by being transparent with them. Letting them know like we in this together. Like it's not no dictatorship. Yes, I'm your coach at the end of the day. But if there's something that you feel like we could do that'll better help all of us, don't be afraid to mention it to me and we could talk about it. I might still go with whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because this is my job.
It's my group. Yeah.
My group. But I don't mind taking in y'all feedback as well. And so yeah, go ahead, my bad. That was just something I wanted to input. My bad.
No, you good, man. So community coaches a lot of the times get a bad rep, and it's not just community coaches, it's the 7-on-7 coaches, it's the personal trainers, right? They always get that bad rep of they don't really know what they're doing. They are in it for the wrong reasons. They're pulling our kids in the train because they just want to pull them to go to another place, right? So that's how have you been able to deal with that piece of it, Coach Bills?
I don't deal with that piece of it because I don't worry about it. I'm not that type of guy. That's not why I got into it.
Right.
And I feel like I'm genuine and I'm kind of like clear cut and dry, straightforward. I came here to learn. I came here to learn and be great at what I'm doing and developing kids and impacting kids. We're not just teaching kids football. We teaching these kids life. Like that's what a lot of people don't realize. We teaching them life. So if a coach is on your ass and he's telling you this, and that, it's because he care about you and he want to see you create that transition from being a little boy into a young man within your life, within your lifetime. Because to be honest with y'all, like the reason why I really started coaching is, like I'm a parent now. I got 2 kids, but I can impact them all day long. But it's just like I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And like me being from Chicago, I lost my pops at 15, freshman in high school. I had father figures, but it was just never the same. Like the guidance I didn't have is why I give the guidance now, because I want to bridge that gap for kids that I know, probably not getting the same type of, they probably going through the same type of mental things I was going through at that time, especially being a young kid and just having to fend for yourself and figure it out on your own and things of that nature. And so I just wanted to turn my trials and tribulations into somebody's reason for continuing to go. And but yeah, to answer your question, like I don't care about what people say about me. Like literally me and Rob were just having this conversation because I call myself the dog breeder. People gonna have something to say about me. But I feel like deep down in my heart, like that's who I am. I embody being a dog and getting through, obstacles, overcoming to become. You know what I'm saying? You go through. You don't. It's not about what you go through. It's about what you grow through. And I think that that's something that people don't really like. Perception is everything when in life. So depending on how you perceive something, which is why I try to stay positive all the time, because the way you perceive something and the way you go about something will dictate how that turns out for you in every facet, in every lane you in. So me coming in like, dang, I'm a assistant coach to assistant coach. Like, okay, what you gonna do with it? You like what? How are you?
You made that sound so bad, assistant coach.
That's just what it was, man. And like the average guy to have too much to just put himself in a position, and I'm older than Raw, to be honest. So the average man would have taken that and made it into something negative, but it was something beautiful. And
Right.
look at the relationships that I've been able to build outside of that. So I don't go in the room. But
Well,
man.
I coached 7-on-7, did the recruiting thing, worked recruiting with different schools. I done ran into it all the time. Like even because I didn't coach nowhere when I had my 7-on-7 team, but I was close with coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was at schools, and I let them coach on my team. And actually, one school reported the other coach because he's like, they're coaching my kids, and I'm not comfortable with that because he can recruit them. And at the time, I'm like, bro, ain't nobody like I'm not gonna let them do that. But at the same time, I can't stop nobody from doing that. So it's
I'm about to
hard.
say it's hard to jump in and say,
Yeah. So I think it depends on where you're at. But now it's so weird, and I know it's like a rule, like you're not supposed to coach your own kids. But it's so many high school coaches like teaming up and just bringing their kids together.
Yeah.
And, just doing it that way. But at the same time, you make sure you keep your kids and you make sure you're still developing them, I guess, legally. Because there's so many different coaches and so many different kids. It's not like practice. So I know a lot of coaches are just hopping onto organizations that's already started by somebody that's not a coach and just making sure their kids come out, try out. And I think it helps because you still like as long as it's a organized 7-on-7 where you still have practice, you do indie, you do the team, you still learn the basic principles of football, what you want to, what you want the kids to learn through the offseason, and they're getting better. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And then as far as the transfer part, I mean, it is like you can't even stop. Like it might not even be a coach and kids and parents just hopping up and moving on their own. So
Yeah.
I don't. That's something I can't. You don't even worry about no more. If you leave, you leave. If you come, you come.
That part, yeah. So how have parents are usually the biggest headache in high school sports. How difficult has that been for you?
That's why I stopped. So when I got into like my recruiting service, once again, I told you I started that as soon as when I got done playing, which was probably about 19, 20. So I started working with parents. I was only charging like $10 a month sometimes. But then as I got better, 100 a month, whatever. But it was still like I had to deal with parents because that's who got the money. And kids paying me. So I'm 20 years old talking to grown folks about how I'm finna help their kid get to school. I'm the same age, close, whatever. So dealing with that, it was tough because when you talking to somebody on the phone, and I notice this now, like if I call one of our kids, I could tell he's a kid. When you talk to certain people, you can just tell. And I think people started to catch on that I was young, or when they met me in person, because a lot of people before they pay you, they want to meet you in person. Said, well, I'm coming in here. I just got a mustache. I got the little damn beard too. It is.
Wasn't connected yet.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still wearing big little chains that come out here. Like I look like a teenager, bro. Like I'm still young. And I think people started to catch on. So like people try to kind of like, oh, that's too much, like talk me down or say like, oh no, you don't got enough experience, or they just do some grimy stuff like pay me, get a kid an offer, stop paying. You know, stuff like that. But once again, I'm basically still a kid. Like I'm not even old enough to drink at that time. So like I don't know. I'm just like, all right, I guess I gotta move on. Folks them took my money, bro. You know what I'm saying? So or feeling like parents always want more. And that was tough too, just being young or doing an all-star game and I'm putting my all into it and somebody's still not happy. I had to grow into that of understanding that I can't make everybody happy, but it took me
please everybody.
At that time, like when you that age, you almost always will be a people pleaser, depending on how you was raised. Like I was a troublemaker, but I also was a good kid. Like I worked hard, yes sir, no sir, whatever my coach told me to do, I did it. So when I felt like I failed or I disappointed somebody, that job always ate me up. And I think that was the hardest part of, oh, I'm not doing a good enough job recruiting this kid, getting this kid to school. His parents think I suck. These folks think my all-star game trash. And to be honest with you, over the time, like being that young, it ended up eating me up. To the point where, bro, that's when I wanted to get into like helping the high schools. So I started partnering up with high school coaches and programs and stuff. So I wanted to find a way to cut parents completely out of anything I did, and that's how I did it. And I ain't dealt with no parents since I came back to Brookwood, but these my parents, my kids, so it's different.
Yeah, very. So, Coach Bill, same question. How difficult has it been, like the parents in coaching?
I done had some good ones. I done had some. I just think that like when you are coaching a kid, you become a part of their village, and so I kind of like try to keep, like in that aspect, I try to kind of keep a good level of communication with the parents of the kids that I'm directly coaching.
Yeah.
For that main reason. So like, you said difficulties, right? My bad.
Yeah.
So like difficulties, I feel like, I feel like kids have a way of manipulating their parents, and like, you know what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
I think that when your expectations are set to a certain standard, and the kid isn't meeting those standards, or they feel slighted because they know they're not working to the level of meeting those standards in certain ways, they tend to, try to find a cop out or try to find somebody to blame it on. When we are in control of our own, we the only ones that can control our destiny by what we do and what we put out there in the garage of what anybody else says about us. What we say about us is more important. So I think that, that was one of my biggest difficulties, was just dealing with a kid that, he knew he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, but he would go and make it seem like it was Coach Bill's fault. Like those type of situations, I kind of like, I get, I don't want to say angry, but I get mad because it's like, bro, I'm one of the coaches. I'm one of the coaches that really wants every kid that's in my position group to be great. Like, in some level or some capacity, I'm gonna push all y'all the same way. If you feel like I'm picking on you, it's because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So just having those tough conversations with parents, and also I've done most coaches wouldn't do this, but I've even went ahead and like asked the kid, like, and the parent at the same time, like, if there's something that y'all feel like, or y'all, they ask me questions, and I tell them like, dang, thank you for asking me this question, because you know what, I never really thought about this. This might fill a gap that I might be having my coaching. Just by you asking me this question, I could get to a different level of understanding. It just goes back to perspective again. Like, you just gotta have a solution oriented perspective. And so I deal with a lot of situations with that type of perspective. So when like I could say it was a difficult time, but like I just feel like life is difficult. You get to choose your difficult every day. So I wouldn't say nothing is difficult. I'll just say like it was just some hardships, like just dealing with parents and kids who are not on the same page.
And that's something you see a bunch of, and it's the term that I was always told was parents always see their children through rose-colored glasses, meaning that their kids are always going to shine and look good from their perspective, right? Parents always want from a football perspective, they want the 10 best kids in their child to be playing, which I always found like, dang, that's crazy. So we could have your son could possibly be the worst player on the team, but as long as they on the field, like they're happy.
Yep.
Which is, kind of how, we get to the JV games. I'm like, I don't really care. I need everybody to play. Even if they only get in one snap, I need them to at least touch the field, because the booster club president, son is on the team. And if he don't get on the field for XYZ, then we're going to have to, the head coach is going to have a meeting with mom. And then for me as the JV head coach, now I got to have a meeting with the head coach, which means he done wasted an hour, because he going to waste 30 minutes of my time talking to me about why that kid didn't play. So it's always that piece of it, especially with regards to dealing with parents. And I think we're very fortunate to where we've had a head coach that kind of put a shield between us and parents for the most part. So we never had to have any serious conversations with parents with regards to how things go. Well, minus Coach Raw, because you're in a different seat than everybody else. As a recruiting coordinator, you in mom's house at this point. Yeah, every day. So my next question for you guys is it everything that you thought it would be with regards to coaching? What you got?
I wanted to follow up on the difficulties thing one more time, and just speak from a community coach standpoint.
Yeah.
That was something, because I know you mentioned something about that in the last podcast, but difficulties with being a community coach I've had, man, is your regular job. Like I am very, like, I'm telling y'all, when I say I'm blessed and I'm highly favored to have the type of working situation that I got, I'm super blessed, bro. Like my situation is very, very flexible, and I don't know how I'll be able to coach without this flexible situation.
Yeah.
So I know for other guys that's out there that's trying to coach, I would and this is like how you get your foot in the door too. If you're a community coach and you want to be a community coach, don't come to Gwinnett County and try to be a community coach, because practice starts at 2:30 and most guys not going to work at 6:30 in the morning, bro.
Hey, listen, that's true though. You can wait to start at 4:00.
Yeah, so you need to go to the cab, you need to go to Newton County, you need to go somewhere else where the kids get out of school late and you can make it on time, bro, because I'll be fighting for my life to make it on time some days. Like I be working, I do construction, so I have a background in construction, and I also own my own health and wellness business. So I just feel like with the time that I have, you have to really be like very, very intentional with your time, and just making sure everything, like, get the calendar set up for you, everything, because if you got one of them regular 9 to 5 jobs, bro, your boss is gonna be on your bumper. You missing, you know what I'm saying? Like we be having Prop 2 meetings, and then we got days where we going to padded camps, and my boss don't trip because he know I'm doing God's work, and he's behind me 100%, and he knows when I'm with him, I'm gonna give him my all too, just like I'm giving this football my all. So we just got a real high level of mutual respect, and like I said, I'm blessed. If you want to start coaches and community coach, go to the cab in Newton County, brothers. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Go to the cab in Newton. but no, but how has the experience of coaching like truly been? Like how have you benefited from it? Like how has it been for you?
I think it helped me grow up, like, because I started coaching before I had my own like kids, and it's almost like they become your, like he said, you become part of the village. They almost like they like your little brothers, nephews, kid, however you look at it, and you kind of force to, like you said, you had to be an example because you was a young coach and everybody looking up to you. It kind of forced you to almost strive to be perfect because you want them to look up to you and you don't want to seem like you're doing any type of wrong. Granted, you're gonna make mistakes, but for them, you want to, and then you gotta make mistakes, and then like the hard part for a lot of coaches is I also gotta admit that I'm wrong a lot. I gotta tell kids I'm sorry that I was wrong, you was right, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So it just helped me grow, man, as a man. And the same thing like we talk about all the time is, like football teaches kids lessons. I think it teaches us lessons the whole way through. And it helped me become a better dad, husband, whatever because like the grind I could put in, the time I put in, it made me also value like my wife and kids more because I spend so much time with the other kids. When I'm here with them, like I try to make that my focus. Like you said, I do the recruiting and all that, so I get so busy. But sometimes I gotta turn that phone off and realize like that I do that all the time. It can make me appreciate them more. So, it definitely helped me grow. I think it helped the kids like just as much as helped the kids, it helped us. And I don't think people really realize that like how much of an impact and like that we make on the kids, they make the same impact as well. Like I learned so much from these kids, bro. Like it's crazy. So it's definitely a great experience. I love it. And that's why I said like I had the dream of GA, and I don't want people to like, oh, he didn't get there. He don't just like that dream no more. Like he don't want to be a GM. He can't be a GM. No, I could be whatever I want to be. But I love the high school. Like I done fell in love with just working with high school kids and developing them, not just as football players, but as young men. And I also feel like it helped me grow all the time. And then just being around like y'all, bro, like cause y'all a lot of y'all already married, already had kids. To see Coach Bills come to practice with his kids and still vibe. Cause you know what I'm saying? That show he really loved it. Like he really passionate about it. Like don't complain, Rock, cause you ain't got no kids, and I'm a community coach, bro, and I'm your assistant as assistant. I can't. So like for me, like he was grinding so hard, like he felt like he was my assistant, but I felt like he set the standard so high first year that I had to match it. And it wasn't like I was competing with him, but I'm like, bro, if he got this type of energy, I gotta be here, and then he gonna go here, and it just keep going.
Yeah.
Same thing with I think all the coaches around, like Coach Z is our DC now, but it kind of like the way he grinded and continued to grow, and what how Nyberg taught everybody in the room and passed it on to him, and it just I don't know, bro. It's just crazy how much people get taught and learn, and like how you can learn. And I don't know, bro. I'm still amazed by the whole thing, to be honest with you, bro. It's wild. So,
oh yeah.
Nah, yeah. Just to piggyback off what Ross said, man. Like, honestly, like, I didn't know what coaching would be for me. Start early on, like my whole assistant coach year, I felt I was sliding.
It's just funny every time y'all throw that out there.
Yeah,
Assistant of the assistant.
But yeah, like I don't know, like I had thoughts in my head, like what do the kids really think about me? Like, do they even really respect me? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do the other coaches that think about me? You know, we had a coach when we give out the headsets. The name of my headset was "What do you coach?" You get what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just I had to deal with all those little things, and like I still never let it affect me. But I think that it just showed me how much. Like I was just talking to Chris. I had Chris Brunson with me today, and I was just literally talking to him about this. Like your life can change so much in 1 year. Like 1 year could do something so crazy to your entire life. Like, and it just goes back to like impact and perspective and just everything. So I feel like I've literally found my purpose in life, bro, by coaching and giving back and pouring into these young men, man, and just watching them grow. Like we got kids like Day Day, who's like when he first got in, he didn't want to say nothing to nobody. He was to himself. Now this man is a real deal like leader. Like he's a leader, bro. Like and he showed like it's not even just like it's becoming so natural to him now.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see him go from being this little kid who was scared to get out there on the field and was still, kind of still was making plays. To see him go from that to now is just like priceless, bro. Like you can't put a price tag on growth, and bro, I feel like I'm just blessed to just be around all y'all too. Like, bro, just to show y'all the Coach Allison the real definition of a big bro. This man, so y'all don't know this, but I mean, some of y'all might know. Me and Coach Allison basically switched positions. Now he's the DB coach now, and I'm the receiver coach now. But since being a receiver coach now, I done got a book from Coach Allison. I done got endless videos and podcasts sent to me. I got a whole little receiver toolkit. Like he putting all the tools in my hand and be like, "Hey, bro, just go make it happen," And it's just like just being around people like that. Like I have no excuse not to continue to go, man. It's just I don't know. I think the environment that we are creating and the environment that we have created and just the trials and tribulations that we have been through as a brotherhood, as coaches, as Brookwood, as a family, bro. It's amazing, bro. Like it's been more than everything I could ask for, bro. Honestly, like it's amazing, bro. Like y'all are my family. My mom doesn't live in Georgia no more. I went to Coach Allison mama house for Thanksgiving this year, and I left as a vegetarian. Everybody knows I'm vegetarian. I go to food cookouts all the time. I leave with no to-go plates. Man, I left Coach Allison mama house with 4 to-go plates. She got a whole vegetarian section in her kitchen for the veggie man. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like this. I got to meet a famous comedian. We ain't gonna say their name, but love that purple jacket, bro. He's rocking it.
That's
yeah, man,
terrible.
it's just like, bro, like you never like I said, I never expected myself to be in this position, man. And I'm so grateful, bro. I'm blessed, bro. And yeah, bro, it's more than everything I could ask for, bro. My kids treat the players like family. Like look up to
Yeah.
brothers to the point where Eddie's birthday was just a couple weeks ago. All the players was calling him like, Coach, I ain't trying to talk to him. I'm trying to talk to Eddie. Let me get Eddie the phone. Like, let me happy birthday to little bro, and just stuff like that. And it's just so powerful. It's just so powerful. Like even today, my youngest son Chris was with us in the car. He was helping me move some stuff into my new place, and my youngest son was like, "I love you, Chris." And it just like it caught Chris off guard, but it just goes to show like how close you can get with with people, and how like you said just become family, and it's amazing, bro. Like forget about me, I love you is real, bro.
Yeah, for real. Definitely. So before we end this thing, we've spoken a bunch on the journey, and one of my favorite books is The Alchemist. I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to read it, but it's one of my favorite books, and it's all about Pablo's journey and how he gets to where he essentially wants to be in life. And my question is, what are your long-term goals, right? So where do you see yourself in 5 years? I think everybody knows that for me, I want to be an athletic director. I don't think that'll happen in the next 5 years. I want to coach a little bit longer. But if the right opportunity comes, and I think I will take that and go that route. But for you guys, 5 years from now, where's Coach Bills? Where's Coach Raw?
Go ahead, Bills.
Coach Bills, I'm really a defensive guy at heart. I think in 5 years from now, I'm retired, not from football or coaching or anything like that, from working a 9 to 5. I feel like my business will be in a place where I could devote my time back to my kids and to coaching, which is something that I'm really passionate about doing. So 5 years from now, I look forward to being like retired or homeschooling my kids and just being a full-time coach. I can't speed. I don't want to speed too fast. I don't have a college degree, so I'm not gonna say head coach, but at least like a DC or something. I think I could definitely be there in 5 years. So
Definitely.
I'm finna rack up on these degrees, man. I'm in my master's program right now. I might just skip the specialist, go doctor right off the rip.
But you get your specialist on the way to a doctorate.
So I'm gonna
yeah,
do it together. But I'm gonna get my doctorate. That's what I'm telling myself. So
okay.
You'll see. Just hold me to it, bro. I know you hold me to it.
Yeah.
And I think my ultimate goal, which I think I should be able to do in 5 years, just me personally, and I know people talk about the coordinator first, then head coach. I think if anybody, and there's people who've done it, but I think if anybody could skip the coordinator role and get straight to head coach, I think I'm one of those people just from, like we talked about connections, we talked about just like the events I ran, just being organized. I think the biggest thing as a head coach, and I know a lot of people don't try to get to it too fast, is because you kind of have to step away from the X's and O's depending on what type of program you're trying to build or where you're at. And to be honest with y'all, I'm fine with that. Like I love, like y'all talk about parents. I tell y'all talk to parents every day. Like as hard as it might be, I actually kind of enjoy it because it's a skill you got to have. Like some people can't talk to parents, and they don't know how to manage parents. And I think the biggest part of a program is being able to manage not only your staff, not only your kids, but to manage the parents of those kids, to be able to build those relationships with admin. And I think one thing I do great, if I don't do nothing, is build relationships with everybody around me, whether it's kids, the admin at the school, the coaches around me. I have that type of relationship to where I can walk in anybody's office, anybody home or whatever, and it's like family. So my goal in the next 5 years, to be honest, like 3, is to try to get a head coaching job, man, and build my own program. I've been around great coaches. I know I still got a lot to learn from Coach Nybert, learned a lot from Phillip, and learned a lot from Coach Freeman. And they're all 3 different type of coaches. And I think if I put that together and what I got and what I know, I think it's possible to not have to be a coordinator and be a really good head coach depending on the spot. You know what I'm saying? So that's my goal. Really not 5 3, to be honest with you.
3? Okay.
Yeah.
I like it, dog. I got your back. So, all right, Coach Bills, before we sign off, man, tell them where we can find you at.
Oh yeah, Coach Bills on Instagram is Coach Bills 2131, and then on X it's the same thing, Coach Bills 2131, man.
There you go. And then you mentioned your business a few times.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
It's a health and wellness business, so I'm vegetarian. So I was able to get connected with some people that was, um, building the business at a high level and getting into like online. Uh, Essentially, what I'm trying to say is, but my business, I literally, it's like health and wellness. It's like essentials, like anything you could buy from. Majority of the things you could buy from Walmart, like soaps, toothpaste, um, like protein shakes, energy drinks, laundry detergent. Um, I'm looking around, dishwashing liquid, hand soap. I got baby lotion. But it's all stuff that's plant based, that's made from plants, that's made from farms where you can literally source back the ingredients to whichever farm it came from. And then also on top of that, you like another good thing about it is that or that I like about it, honestly, is because like I'm big on health. So like health is wealth to me. And like we have these vitamins and we have supplements. You need ashwagandha if you have sleeping problems, if you have um high blood pressure, like it's something that can help everybody. So I can't, just because of the type of business it is, I can't disclose too much on the like this, but definitely reach out to Coach Bills if you need any of those things, or you trying to switch over to like a healthier lifestyle. I could definitely give you a lot of insight and help you with those things.
Gotcha. And that is Coach Bills IG and X at Coach Bills 2131. Go follow him. Coach Raw, what else you got going on?
Coach Raw, and then Twitter is Coach Raw. That's it.
What else you got going on? You got the what else?
Oh,
yeah, plug it.
Coaching recruiting clinic, June 7th at Amini's and the Battery. So it's gonna be me, Coach Fred at Lowndes, who does a great job, was at Grayson. Probably had one of the best classes at Grayson signed, other than the other GOAT, Kenyatta Watson. Which also he'll be in attendance. Don't know if he's speaking yet, but I know he'll be there to support. And then Coach Chaz at Kel, who was at Central Gwinnett, Paul and all that, does a great job as well. We're just gonna give a lot of feedback to high school coaches, because I think a lot of high school coaches focus so much on the X's and O's, and they, as much as they pour into the kids, like I don't think it's still enough. Like not enough schools are helping kids get out. You know what I'm saying? So there's still a lot of kids that are doing it themselves, because a lot of coaches still feel like, hey, I'm just gonna coach you, I'm gonna help you play, and they come get you, or if you're good enough, they'll find you. And some still feel that way, because that's how it's been the last past years. Previously, before like 2010, whatever. But with X too, like a lot of coaches don't know how to actually manage social media. Like I love Coach Norbert, but my boy Coach Norbert, you know what I'm saying? He's not that good with technology. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of coaches that's like that.
Yeah.
That I mastered, and that really got me into this. Like the only reason I even blew up in the recruiting, like everybody know me, is because of Twitter. Like I don't do too much on Instagram. I don't know about no other social medias. Like I said, I never coached. What got me to where I am today is literally Twitter. I tell people that all the time. Like I just took advantage of social media and I worked it. And I think it's something that could be taught. Like, so people talk about social media is bad, stay off of it, blah blah blah. Social is literally a tool.
It's a tool. It's how you use it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to teach coaches how to use social media to, like, that's literally my part of the whole presentation, is teaching coaches how to use social media and use these other softwares. Like we just partnered up with Athletic Academy, right? To build the website and all that. Like I'm gonna get them to come out and talk, because we use them too. I use, like, people see all these graphics, they think I use Photoshop. I got another software. Like it's so easy. So stuff like that I want to be able to teach people and make it easier for them to promote their kids on social media. Then we're gonna talk about obviously the calendar and when should you post and when should you take your kids on visits and how to go about different periods. We'll talk about NIL. So June 7th at Omini's and the Battery. Be there. It's $50. The link is on my page at Coach Raw on Twitter. Come check us out.
Dope. And you said KY gonna be there? I might need to come ask him face to face to jump on this with me. I don't want to send him a text message, be like, "Hey, bro, I'm doing a podcast. Come get on with me," because he definitely early on in the game was like, "Yo, let me tell you this," and just giving me advice on different stuff, and had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk a couple times. So definitely, man, shout out to that guy. But to wrap this thing up again, man, I appreciate both of you guys for taking this time out to jump on this podcast with me. Thank you for sharing your stories and giving people advice. I think that's a part of, what we do that oftentimes gets overlooked because we don't get to share a lot of what we do with the masses. We deal with kids, we deal with the parents within our program, and that's kind of it. But again, man, salute both of you guys, two great fathers, two great young coaches that are coming up that, again, want to be a high school head coach and a coordinator at some point in time. If any way that I can help either of you as we move forward, y'all always know how to get in touch with me. I'm always there and available. But thank you guys, everybody that's tuning in and listening to this. Again, on Twitter, you can follow me, One Life to Live. That is the number 1, LYF, the number 2, LIV, and the number 3, and Dr. Coach A. That is at Instagram. Both of those are on Twitter. So if ever you need something, again, feel free, reach out to me. And again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank y'all so much.
Appreciate you for the opportunity, man. And yeah, man, let's do it.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Fotiel. Just ask for trap.